led by Chief of Staff Thornton, followed by a moment of silence and reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone stand for a moment of reflection. May I be seated? The clerk will call the roll. Please correct the pronunciation of your name if it is incorrect. Baldinger, Venegas, Boviak, Cumby, Doppolito, Davis, DiLorenzo, Greer, Fry, Galvin, Gay, George, Gopel, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Heenan, Kern, Lewis, Lusry, Middleton, Monica, Wakaputhia, Primus, Ryan, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Sheridan, Spurgeon, Tapia, Talaka, Violette, Walker, Watley. With the quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the journal of January 14th, 2026 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in line for general orders of the Senate, beginning with reports from Senate leadership. Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, we will have met Sunday 5:30 virtually. It's supposed to be a pretty bad snow day. Didn't end up happening. Kind of sucked. We reviewed 7 pieces of legislation. 6 were found favorable, 1 was unfavorable. It was the resolution to add bike racks. It was just improperly formatted to take by recommendation. Then we reviewed the bill to add the delegation steering committee and summer advisory committee with rules of procedure. That was found favorable 8-1. I've been in contact with Dr. Anderson, and she is working with me on the faculty senate side, as well as Chairperson Kovia. So it's been pretty fun. With that, I get the questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Academics Committee. Chairperson Koviak, you are recognized.
Good evening, everyone. Our committee met at normal time at 6 p.m. on Monday. That will be our meeting time going forward. This will be in person in the LFC. But we met to review 3 pieces, 2 of the ones that we were already given, and then the 1 piece from Senator Lewis, which was recommitted to us. All 3 were found favorable, 149 with the amendment that the senator had given us. But with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairperson yields their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Finance Committee. Chairman Spurgeon, you are recognized.
Hi, we met at our normal time at 3:30 on Friday, approved $5,600 in allocations. One thing of note, Model UN was given a $10,000 override for conference. We are under a little bit of budget pressure. Since I started this position, there's been either 26 or 28 requests, so we're probably going to run out of money, is what I'm trying to say, before the meeting. Probably. I yield questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Hunter. Granted. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Health and Safety Committee. Chairwoman Cumby, you are recognized.
Hi guys, we solidified our meeting time. It's gonna be after Senate again, so y'all can come if you feel interested. And then we did have 1 piece of legislation, which was SBL 117-159, and it was found unanimously unfavorable with 1 abstain, and it was simply because it wasn't well researched enough to adjust for a 60% price decrease. And because there's such a lack of parking, we thought it also negated a supply and demand tax and wouldn't really solve the parking issue on campus. And so we're hoping to revitalize the legislation by doing some more research and kind of drafting our own. Also advocating though for that $840 price mark to decrease because that is a little crazy. And then we also have a piece of legislation hitting the floor today. Shout out Senator Venegas about sunscreen, so really exciting stuff. And then also Senator Keenan brought to mind a really great initiative about being more mindful of prescriptions. So we'll have more information coming forward about that, but I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Judiciary Committee. Chairwoman Diapolito, you're recognized.
Hey guys, Judiciary met Thursday at 3 o'clock, which is our new meeting time. We went over the first chapter for the Goodman edits, which is chapter 4. That piece of legislation will be hitting the floor today, so get excited. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Liberties and Representation Committee. Chairwoman Luther, you're recognized. Chairwoman Sams.
Hi everyone. This is my first time doing this, so sorry if I'm not the best at it right now. We met yesterday at 12 o'clock and reviewed and voted on SBL 117-150, which we found favorable by vote 3 with 1 abstention, and that was just the translating prisoner of war's books. And we're going to be working with the Anne Frank Center throughout the semester, so if that is something that interests you, please feel free to join. Right now we meet Tuesdays at 12, but that will probably change just to fit everyone's schedules better. Yeah, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, good job. We will now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairwoman Loser, you're recognized.
Hey guys, also my first time doing this, so bear with me. Powers met on Monday at 5:30, and we reviewed one piece of legislation, SBL 117-160, and found it unanimously favorable. And with that, you have time for questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Chairwoman Diapolito. We will now hear a report from the Student Life Committee. Chairman Sheridan, you are recognized.
Hey guys, my first time as well. Student Life met Tuesday at 6 p.m. the LSC. We took Monday off for MLK Day, but now we have a new permanent meeting time of 6:30 p.m. On Mondays in the LSC. So during motion period, please join over. We just pushed it back half an hour, and so I also opened up a Teams link, so if you want to join virtually, that's also fine. We discussed 3 pieces of legislation. SBL 157, we found unanimously unfavorable. Our logic was that we found that staying for half of a game was sufficient, and we want to keep in mind busy students who want to attend an athletic event but cannot stay either the whole time or like a vast majority of the time. And then we had SBL 160, we found unfavorable with 1 abstention. We believe the logo stuff can be done internally, and once we have a finalized logo, then it could be voted on with Senate. We just thought that we could push it back a little bit, work a little bit more internally. Then we had SBL 165. We found favorable with an amendment. We had no issue with it substantively. We just thought there'd be a more efficient way to word it and make it a little bit more simple. So I yield to questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairwoman Gopal, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. We were supposed to meet on Tuesday, but I think I accidentally made the Teams private, and I was like sitting there with one person, and after someone was like, yeah, can you let me in? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So that's okay. We didn't have any legislation to go over anyway. So the only thing I was going to talk about at the meeting, last semester we passed a lot of legislation for like the addition of recycling bins and stuff like that. So this semester we're going to focus on more like how to get people to actually recycle. So if that's like through tabling, through doing like specific areas of like recycling bins, if doing like incentives, stuff like that. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to me, but that's what we're going to start working on. And then right before this, someone actually said that Tuesdays don't work, so we might be changing the time, but I'll officially let you guys know next week. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. You're now in line for a report from the Elections Commission. Elections Commissioner, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone. All right. Just really brief from me. We sent in the reapportionment for approval, so that should come in within the next couple days. We have another interest meeting for anyone that's interested in running for an elected position on January 26th in Russell House 322 at 7 p.m. That is this upcoming Monday. And then we're going to send something in GroupMe very soon about if anyone's interested in helping out the Elections Commission and serving with us. Other than that, though, I yield my time to questions.
The commissioner yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the freshman council. Are there any representatives present? Y'all are recognized.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Harrell.
I'm Matthew Santi, and we're both members of the Academics Committee.
For our FROCO updates, we'll start with the Health and Safety Committee. So earlier today, they hosted the Stop the Spike tabling event on Davis Field, and the committee passed out mocktails to students while sharing important info on drink safety. And I was there to help table for an hour, and they were very successful. They're also currently planning their next event, which is tentatively scheduled for February 9th, and that will focus on providing information about safe sex.
And our Sustainability Committee is also planning a tabling event for February. At this event, they'll be giving out Valentine's Day cards made from biodegradable seed paper that can be planted instead of being thrown away. And they don't have a date set yet, but they'll be sharing more information soon.
And the Student Life Committee is currently working on organizing a food drive, and they're still finalizing some of their details, but once the drive begins, they'd love any contributions or donations from the student body.
The Liberties and Representations Committee is working on creating a slideshow that explains how to navigate USC transportation. Their goal is to have the presentation be shared in university one-on-one courses and eventually become a part of the curriculum for future years. They're also planning a few other tabling events before the end of the FROCO term. Those specific details haven't been finalized.
And for our committee, academics, we're collaborating with the Senate Academics Committee and Cabinet to put together the Academic Resource Fair as a part of SG Academics Week, which will take place during the first week of March. And our event will be held on Friday, March 6th from 10 to 4 in the Russell House Ballroom. So the fair will feature tables staffed by representatives from a wide range of academic resources on campus, giving students the opportunity to walk through, ask questions, and learn about the support services available to them. And so far, we've reached out to a wide variety of programs, the undergraduate advising, student disability, national fellowship, abroad student success center, undergraduate, the list goes on. So we've reached out to a lot. So yeah.
We also plan to expand this event by inviting professors from each college to table and share information about special student opportunities. This could include research that the professors are currently conducting, other research opportunities for the students, or any unique courses they plan to teach next semester or in semesters to come. To increase student engagement, we're primarily reaching out to pre-professional organizations and fraternities and advertising the event as a way for students to learn both about academic resources they have here on campus, as well as more like opportunities specifically related to their majors. We've already contacted each school and are currently building a list of potential professors who may be interested in participating, and we would love to collaborate with all of you on this. So if you know any professors that you would want to participate at this event or you think might be interested, please let either us or anyone on our committee know.
And that wraps up our updates from freshman council, and we're happy to yield our time to questions.
The representatives yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Good job, y'all. We are now in line for a report from the Constitutional Council. Are there any representatives present? Associate Justice Brittner, you're recognized.
Everyone, the codes are updated and I have nothing to report. I yield my time to questions.
The Associate Justice yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Thank you. All right, we are now in line for a report from the Speaker of the Student Senate. I'm recognizing myself. Hi, everybody. I need to take that off there. Sorry. I hope you guys had a good, first little week back at school. I don't really have that much to report. I'm really excited for all of the codes edits to start coming out. Just a reminder, if you have any questions about that, I highly encourage you to ask, the sponsors of the legislation. If you're still confused, you can ask me. If you're still confused, you can ask the advisors. There's a team of 10 people that have spent tens, if not hundreds, of hours on this. We have professional staff that was hired for the reason of writing these codes edits. So it's possible a lot of your questions may have real answers. This is very important. Just to make sure everybody knows, the Senate retreat that was scheduled for Saturday is going to be moved just because of the weather and stuff like that. It's going to be this upcoming Tuesday from 5 to 7. If you can't go, it's not a big deal. You just have to submit a proxy form. It needs to be in 24 hours in advance. So by 5 p.m. on Monday, the 26th, if you know that you're going to miss, just do it now and fill out the form, because if you forget and you're not there, you're going to be marked unexcused, and that's one of your 3 Senate absences. And if you accrue those, you are at risk of being removed. So make sure you have that on your calendar. It's going to be in the LSC from 5 to 7. Everybody know it's next Tuesday, 5 to 7. Please be safe in the snow this weekend. Let me know if you need anything. I have one other thing to say. No, it's totally something out of my mind. Oh, I remember. Next week, unfortunately, due to my clinical schedule that I have no control over, I will be working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Wednesday. So that means that our Speaker Pro Tempore will be filling in for me. I'm really sorry I can't be here. I really wish that I could be, but I will be in the hospital at Rockville working. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. Otherwise, I yield my time to questions. Senator Jacobson. Casual. Yeah. I'm probably going to be in a sweatsuit. Any other questions? Seeing none. We are now in line for a report from the student body treasurer. Are there any representatives present? Seeing none. Sorry, Ashley was sick this week. If you have any questions for her, just email her, or you can feel free, obviously, to reach out to me. She had her first treasurer's workshop of the semester last week, and it went super well. I'll feel super well. We are now in line for a report from the student body vice president. Vice President Jordan Richardson, you are recognized. Senator Wakapusia. Granted.
Yeah, happy Wednesday. Sorry I'm dressed like this. I'm not supposed to be here. But this week we pushed back Carolina Civility Weekend events because some planning came through, so we're pushing it back for a few weeks. But super excited for that in the future. Other than that, make sure you guys buy a quarter zip. Super excited for those to come in. I'm also in contact with USCPD. We're going to do another safety walk just to walk through it and see what improvements have been made, what has not been, what still has to be worked on. And then, I think it's all. Give my time to question.
The student body vice president yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Thank you. We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Courtney Tax, you are recognized.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. I have 2 quick points before I get into my report. With the inclement weather, I know that the governor just issued a state of emergency. That does not mean that school is getting canceled. I want to preface that. That just means we're eligible for federal funds if things do go south. So just want to put that out there. Just because he has issued a state of emergency does not mean that school is canceled. We follow what the Richland 1 governmental system does. So if they cancel school for Richland 1, we typically follow that. I'm saying typically because not always, but that's what the website does too. So if you're interested, you can go look at that. And I just want to also say, like, please be safe this week. Try not to travel. If you are doing anything, please try to stay put. If you need any additional assistance, I just want to remind everyone about the community shop. If you need any additional food, they're always there to support. I also wanted to acknowledge the death that we had in 650. If you are struggling at all, or if you knew them, or if you were aware of the situation, please reach out. I'm happy to kind of point you in the direction of some resources. We do have the name of the student, however, we still are the cause of death is still unknown, but my thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. So again, if you need anything, please let me know. Some updates about SC Exchange. We have 10 schools coming, ranging from USC system schools to other public and one private institution in South Carolina. Representative Nathan Ballantyne will be coming and speaking. He is the House Ways and Means Higher Education chairman, so really excited for him to come interact with our students. Ashley had sent a message to the GroupMe regarding volunteering, so if you are interested in volunteering, please fill that out, and then Maura will send you some more updates about what that will look like and some further instructions. Some advocacy. I am currently working with IT on a university-wide app. I've been doing a lot of research regarding all of the current apps that we have in the institution. It's actually a lot. I knew there were a lot, but there were probably about 20 more than I didn't even realize. So I'm kind of working with them to see what we can condense. Also working with parking regarding our kind of contract that we have with rideshare programs to see what the future of that could look like. Again, Carolina Day, February 17th. I will send the link in the GroupMe to sign up for that. There is the main advocacy event at the beginning of the day. We start at the Alumni Association, and then there is an optional lunch. This is such a great opportunity. I want to remind everyone that this is not an advocacy day. This is not for you to go and to advocate about what you want to. This is to thank the representatives and the senators for the work that they do for South Carolina and especially for USC. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Additionally, we've, again, like I said last week, we've made the list of all the legislators, so you can sign up to send them a letter. We have a template. If you want to throw in like a little extra thing, you can, but keep in mind, I am reading every single note before they go, so I will know if you put something in there that you're not supposed to. Also, for cabinet, we have a few programming events going on. My Secretary of Academics is working on a joint collab with Senate regarding an academics week, and that also includes Freshman Council. And one of the big events that we're planning is an Animals and Administration Day, and we're bringing back the puppies. I'm very excited. Next, we have Hoops Week. Secretary of Athletics is working with Gamecock Entertainment on that. Again, if you're interested, especially if you're involved in student life, want to get involved with some athletics programming, please let me know. And then I'm going to be working with Speaker Pro Tempore Violette regarding the Come and Complain event that I have recently renamed to Let's Clear the Air because I am not pro having a negative name. This is a positive event, not a negative event. So Let's Clear the Air, just an opportunity for you to connect with your constituents. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The president yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding the resignation of Adam Brazier from the position of Student Senator.
Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Constitutional Council regarding non-substantive edits to the Student Government Code.
The question is of the approval of non-substantive edits en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it, the edits are approved. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body Treasurer regarding the resignation of Daniel Plazer and Sai Kutapalli from the position of Comptroller.
Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body Treasurer regarding the Comptroller nominations, Olivia McMaster and Karis Collin.
The nominees are referred to the Finance Committee. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other the clerk will now read?
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding delegation assignment. Darla Moore School of Business, Turner Wilson, McCollin College of Arts and Sciences, Peyton Ward, Jamie Ryan, Andrew Boswell, College of Hospitality, Retail and Sports Management, Logan Seitler.
The question is of the approval of delegation assignments en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The delegation assignments are confirmed. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other the clerk will now read?
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding committee assignments. Powers and responsibilities in student life committees, Turner Wilson, Peyton Ward, Jamie Ryan, Logan Seitler, Andrew Boswell.
The question is of the approval of committee assignments en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The committee assignments are approved. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other the clerk will now read?
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding the application of Gabriella Bartlett and Lainey Moore to the position of Student Senator.
The applicants are referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other the clerk will now read? Can someone grab our Associate Justice because he needs to do the oath of office like right now? Thank you. Seeing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor at this time? Senator Jacobson. They need to be confirmed first. Is there a motion to confirm Turner Wilson, Peyton Ward, Jamie Wright, and Logan Seitler, and Andrew Boswell to the position of student senator? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The applicants are confirmed. Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Okay, y'all can come down now. And then Tyler's going to come down now. Sorry. Yes, let me grab it. Sorry, I don't have it like on lock.
Is that cool? I'm going to say it and you're going to repeat after me, okay? Then raise your right hand. All right. I, say your name, do solemnly pledge to faithfully execute the office of your position, to abide by the student government constitution and codes, to uphold the Carolinian Creed, and to represent my constituents to the best of my ability.
Okay, so now you guys are senators, which means that you're gonna all come sit in the middle. Will the 5 people who said they were gonna take a buddy please stand up? Or like raise their hand, whatever. Yes, if you see somebody raising their hand / standing up, you're just gonna come sit next to them. You can kind of pick whoever. You take your placard and your stuff with you as well. Yeah. There's 5. It's Josh, Daniel, Matthew Fry, Kiki, and Tommy. Okay, awesome. And if you guys have any questions, just ask your buddy and they'll be able to answer it. Senator Jacobson, there's been a motion to reinstate the rules. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We're still in the motion period at this time. Are there any motions on the floor? This is gonna take a minute, y'all. Chairwoman Diapolito. Does the sponsor find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Seeing as the sponsor has found this amendment friendly, the amendment is now adopted. Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to add a recommendation to the first reading calendar. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, and the recommendation is added to the first reading calendar and granted the legislative number of 171. Senator Sheridan. Does the sponsor find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Seeing as the sponsor finds this amendment friendly, the amendment is now adopted. Senator Spurgeon. Can I get the number, please? There's been, does the sponsor find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Seeing as the sponsor has found this amendment friendly, the amendment is now adopted. Chairman Spurgeon. There's been a motion to add Chairman Spurgeon to the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to table SBL 117-159 indefinitely. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, and the bill is tabled indefinitely, the recommendation. Senator Watley. Is that a piece that's been tabled indefinitely? 150? Let me look. 1 second. You're all good. Sorry, y'all. Just gotta make sure. A recommendation to support the translation of a text of German war prisoners. That, since it already went to committees, just automatically goes on the uncontested calendar because you guys found it favorable. Yeah. No, you're okay. Okay. Well, it's on my script. Sorry about that. Chairwoman Cumby. There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Cumby from the Liberties and Representations Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairperson Tobiak. $149. I don't believe it was amended last week. It was recommitted back to academics. Okay. Does the sponsor find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Seeing as the sponsor has found this amendment friendly, the amendment is now adopted. Senator Lewis. Okay. There's been a motion to table SBL 160 indefinitely. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The bill is tabled indefinitely. Senator Lewis. Okay, there's been a motion to table SBL 117-170 indefinitely. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The bill is tabled indefinitely. Any other motions on the floor at this time? I do just want to clarify that 150 is on the uncontested second reading calendar. That's my mistake that it was not on the calendar, but it's reflected on my end. Are there any other motions on the floor at this time? Seeing no further motions, is there a motion to dispense of this motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now on the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will now read. Quickly, if you were just added to a committee, such as our vacancy senators, make sure to join the group meet. The Powers and Responsibilities Committee is the one second from the left on the bottom, and the Student Life Committee is the one third to the left on the bottom. So there's middle two down there. We are now on the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 117-166, sponsored by the Judiciary Committee, a bill to organize and amend Chapter 4 of the Student Government Code.
The sponsors are recognized.
Hey guys, so this is the first part of the Goodman edits for chapter 4. I encourage everyone to read this very closely. I believe it's going to all committees, and we would like to hear all feedback. I will say the most major change is probably EC will now have original jurisdiction, and it's there's just an added appeal and recusal process for EC as well. I yield my time to questions.
The sponsor yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this legislation is referred to all committees. Continuing on with the call of the introduction of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-167, sponsored by Senator Benegas, a recommendation to implement campus sun safety measures through the installation of free sunscreen dispensers in a university-wide UV protection awareness campaign.
Senator Venegas, you are recognized.
Hey everyone, so this one's pretty simple, but if you guys seen like dispensers for hand sanitizers, basically the same thing. It's supposed to be free to cost for students. Technically it does come out of their tuition if we do it for them, but this has been done at a lot of different schools that are similar size as us. And then also School of Medicine Greenville has this, and they got it funded, which I reached out for funding, and they said they're not giving out grants anymore. So, but it is possible to get money from like other organizations. But the one-time fee, like to build 10 on campus would be $1,600, and then to keep like filling up the sunscreen dispensers would be $600 a year. But there's also something in here that says like doing like a awareness campaign, which is something that would cost like $25. So I think that could low-key be a start. But yeah, I yield my time to questions.
The sponsor yields his time to questions. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Senator Sheridan.
Yeah, so I was thinking there would be at least like 3 near the stadium, just because game days is where people are going to be out, and where the sun's going to be hitting them a lot more. But and then like Russell House, you're going to have some by Humanities, Darla, literally everywhere on campus.
Any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Health and Safety Committee. Continuing on, good job, first presentation. Continuing on with the call of the introduction of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-168, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to improve communication and accessibility of scholarship opportunities through the Office of Financial Aid.
The sponsor is recognized. Senator Walker. Granted.
Yeah, so basically this is a recommendation. It's talking about scholarship, you know, having access to the scholarship information and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing anything now, but it could be a little bit better than what we're getting right now. You know, updating the website, updating information that we receive about scholarships and things like that. I mean, because scholarships are important. I mean, people use them to pay for, you know, education things, you know, whatever y'all do with them. So I think this recommendation in particular is asking the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships to improve scholarship opportunities of how they're shared, you know, so basically like making sure the deadlines are clear, you know, better coordination, I think, with students. So it needs to be more user friendly. I shouldn't have to go to this website and this website and this website to get just to a scholarship. It should just be a whole list. Click on the link and then you apply for it. It should be simple and not complicated for students. You know, quite frankly, I think, you know, so this recommendation doesn't create any policy or guidelines. It is giving that authority to the Office of Financial Aid. You know, they need to step up to the plate and really accommodate us students, I think. And with that, I'm going to yield for questions.
Senator Lewis yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Academics Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-169, sponsored by the Finance Committee, a recommendation to permit the Finance Committee to allocate funds.
Chairman Spurgeon, you are recognized.
This is just the normal finance bill allocating funds to 3 clubs, including the FinK override for Model UN. They are now sitting at $11,000 for the year. So it was approved at $1,000 over. The sum is 5,300, not 56. I got that wrong the first time. 56 requested. Any other questions?
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Sanders. There's been a motion to pass SBO 117-169 by unanimous consent. Seeing no objections, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the introduction of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-171, sponsored by Senator Jacobson, a recommendation to add bicycle racks to Williams-Brice Stadium.
Senator Jacobson, you are recognized.
Hi, this bill is pretty simple. It's in the title. Right now, the Williams-Brice Stadium does not have any bicycle racks outside of it. Believe it or not. Look for them, they're not there. All this does. Thank you. I use this one.
Senator Jacobson yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the, you good? The Health and Safety Committee. Continuing on with the call of the introduction of the new legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, is there a motion for a brief recess? I'm sorry, I'm dealing with a tech issue with the amendments, and I want to make sure that's reflected before we go into the second reading calendar. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We'll be back at 6:18. So if you want to run out and get a quick water, but we're starting at 6:18. legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-150, a recommendation to support the translation of a text written by the German prisoners of war at Fort Jackson.
The sponsors are recognized. Also, just a friendly reminder, this is unrelated, but if you're looking at the calendar, please make sure you're looking at the calendar in the OneDrive. Like I sent you guys that PDF in the pre-Senate email, but it's subject to change. So the calendar in the OneDrive is most up to date on what's going on. You can start, sorry.
Hello, everyone. This is just the same legislation from last semester, right before Senate ended for the winter break. The Anne Frank Center is fully on board with this. They have full support, and they support this legislation as well. And it hasn't really changed since then. But I yield my time to questions.
The sponsor yields the time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Great job, guys. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-152, sponsored by Speaker Pro Tempore Violet, a bill to add the delegation, steering, and summer advisory committees to the Student Senate Rules of Procedure.
The Speaker Pro Tempore is recognized.
Hey y'all, I know I touched on this last week, but delegation steering, it's in the Constitution, but it was never really fleshed out. Reason it's not going in the codes is because there's a big code revision. Yeah, and also summer advisory was not in the procedure either, but it's one of our committees. With that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-154, sponsored by Chairperson Doppolito, a bill to clarify campaign activity and resources.
Chairwoman Diapolito, you're recognized.
Just a reminder, this bill is just to clearly state that student government members are allowed to be on campaigns in their personal capacities. They just can't act in their official capacities and use their student government resources to push campaigns forward. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-155, sponsored by Chairperson Doppolito, a bill to clarify the election communication form.
Chairwoman Diapolito, you're recognized.
Hey, this one is just to split up electronic communication forms and social media, now adding a social media section and making electronic communication forms into direct electronic communication forms, so there's no confusion with that. I heard a couple concerns about not being able to have trademarks on social media. There was an amendment that was just added that says that restriction applies only to digital content, including but not limited to digital flyers. It won't extend to garments worn by individuals, like if someone's wearing a South Carolina shirt or jersey. Other than that, the bill is pretty much the same. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-156, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to create policy for students to record and take photos of lecture materials for academic purposes.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized. Senator Middleton. There's been a motion to appoint Senator Sheridan as Senator Middleton's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Middleton. Granted.
Yeah, so basically this recommendation is just asking that, the Office of Provost set a clear guideline and clear standard about when it comes to using photography and, video for like academic purposes only. Um, you know, when I brought this recommendation up last week, I was in class and, one of my professors was talking about it. And, she actually mentioned that, you might want to take a picture of this slide so you can use it for future reference. And, I said, well, I just did that right in Senate. That's exactly what I wrote about. I said, she hit it right, the hammer right on the nail with that one, so yeah, this is not talking about selling information online. This is just basically using this for academic purposes to modernize our policy and our classroom instruction. With that, I yield for questions.
Senator Lewis yields his time for questions. Nice speak. Oh my gosh. Are there any questions? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. Yes.
Yes.
Chairperson Koviak. Any other questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-158, sponsored by Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, a recommendation to establish a transportation engineering concentration for the BSE civil engineering curriculum.
Senator Violette, you're recognized. Senator Ward. Granted. There's been a motion to designate Senator Fry as Senator Ward's proxy. Is there a second? Without objections, so ordered. And then you can go since I said granted.
I know I touched on this last week. I had a conversation with a civil engineering student who was really passionate about transportation engineering, and her and I both were surprised that USC didn't offer these types of concentrations in schools like Georgia Tech, University of Alabama, and Texas A&M do offer this. I did speak to Dr. Barbara Anderson, faculty senator, about this, and we kind of gauged that the feasibility of doing this it's doable because we already have classes specifically for transportation engineering. I think Chairperson Koviak and I will have a further conversation with the purpose about it as well. With that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-161, sponsored by Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, Senator Hunter, Senator Jacobson, a resolution to establish an ad hoc committee to research and propose revitalization to the role of student body treasurer.
The sponsors are recognized.
Just as I'm trying to sit on. Okay, yeah, so finance fund is favorable. Cool. We did have a few questions. One, no, this is not going to change the flow of funds. That is going to remain the same. The process is going to remain the same. It's purely just internal changes to the role of student body treasurers. I know working with Ashley thus far has been amazing. Really just a personable person.
I'm wondering why this would even be brought up, because this is not anything to change the role of the treasurer yet. That's what the committee should check out.
Yeah, it's just checking it out. But the corporate,
yeah. Separate legislation.
Yeah.
I'm related to this.
Thank you. But yeah, it's just research. There was another thing brought up about meeting time. We would have a strict Friday meeting, and if you wanted to meet up with either me or someone else, fellow co-sponsors here, we could set that up and set up a meeting and record minutes for it.
Point of information before they start. This is our first special committee. Yay. Just a few like explanations about this. If this piece passes tonight, you're going to have the opportunity to motion at any time to add yourself. During the period of open discussion, I'll probably bring it back up and give you guys a chance to add yourself to the committee. Special committees count as one of your 3 committees, so if you're already on 3, you would have to leave one in order to join. And if you want to leave all your committees and join the ad hoc committee, you could technically do that, but that wouldn't be a super efficient use of your time because this committee is only going to be around for about a month. Also, any attendance at this committee can't affect your overall attendance. So like if you're joining and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to attend all the meetings, I would encourage you to still join the committee, because if you miss meetings due to like class times or things like that, it doesn't impact your overall Senate attendance, if that makes sense. Are there any questions?
Actually, one more. There was a question about the turnaround of this committee. I know it isn't a month, which is why we're trying to be extremely flexible with the meeting time. We put in one of that statements that if the committee decides the referendum is necessary, it would be in by the 11th. That's just to give us enough time to properly review it. And if it were to pass, it would hit Courtney's desk and she would be able to sign it and have the week's time to send that out to the student body, but we're not at that.
Also, special committees can't introduce legislation, but they like produce findings that can be used, if that makes sense. So it could be sponsored by these 3 people, but it's not sponsored by the committee itself.
Also, if you're particularly interested in attending the committee and you're still full, you can still come. You just come watch or talk, even if you're not.
Any questions? Chairwoman Diapolito. There's been a motion. Do you want to bypass the period of questioning and move straight to the roll call vote? Okay, there's been a motion to bypass the period of questioning and move to a roll call vote. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. We're still in the period of questioning. Are there any questions on the floor? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote. Senator Spurgeon? Yeah.
Personally, no. But it's just in the event that the committee comes to an agreement on a referendum, then yes, it's just kind of just fair. I don't anticipate one. Just codes change, just from the internal organization of the office of student vice president. Yes, and this is the part where the historical codes and SEC codes come into play, because we're going to be using that to figure out, well, what do these other schools have that our current treasurer doesn't have. It will be implemented after the election.
Any other questions? Senator Lewis?
Yes, Ashley and I have been in contact, and we've been, just talking back and forth and communicating on it, thinking, well, what schools can we potentially look at? I don't have the exact list on me, but I know that we do have been discussing it. She seems super enthusiastic about it, and then the 3 of us are, and I hope you guys are.
Also, special committees are, just want to point out, like, you've been in the 117 student senate. We haven't had them actually when I've been speaker, but when I was in the 115 student senate, there were like 3 different ad hoc committees during my time. So it's not like this is like something new. We've done this in the past. Any other questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote. If there was a motion for a roll call vote and to not bypass the period of times, I would entertain that now. Okay, seeing none. We will now move to a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the uncontested legislation. We are now on the call of the contested legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 117-153, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a bill to amend the student government constitution for the election of the Speaker of the Student Senate by the Student Senate.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized.
Yeah, I feel like this was going to be an interesting one, but the reason I brought this up, I think, pretty much is basically I think that the state government does it and the federal government does it. And so, and also many other SEC schools, Student Senate does it as well. And so I got to, digging in our historic records, and I got to looking, and I was like, well, wonder why is this like this, And so, and I think it'll be an interesting topic to do. But ultimately, I don't think really the decision is mine to make. I think it's the student body decision to make. We are elected to represent them. I think they should have the final say of, what they want to see with the student government, So I'm not going to handicap anything, I'm going to be a yes on this because I want the students to have a choice on this. I'm interested to hear, little some things about some of the differences. Somebody had told me something about, that this is kind of, out of the box. I mean, it's not really out of the box. It follows the federal and state government model of their constitution as well. So, it's in the box with the precedents have already been set for hundreds of years by governments, I think, in the with our fighting principles and things like that. So I'm interested to see if someone's going to talk about this or ask questions, because I think it's a very interesting topic. I didn't think it'd get this far, but glad it did. It was one person asked me to table it. I considered doing that, deeply, but we got here. So with that, I'm going to yield to questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Jacobson.
That's a good point, and I don't think it would because I honestly I don't think that if a senator in here makes an appealing case saying, hey, this is how I compare it. If you made a compelling case to be Speaker of the Senate as an executive, you can make that same case as by your 50 senators. I look at it as like this, is that the U.S. House of Representatives elect a Speaker of the House. Our South Carolina General Assembly, the representatives elect a Speaker of the House. So,
Any other questions for Senator Lewis? Chairperson Tobiak.
Yeah, if you look at I'm not sure, I don't have a digital copy on me right now, but the version of this does not change that. It follows the current constitutional guidelines that we have right now. And what I mean by that is that if they are elected the Speaker, they're going to follow the current guidelines where they're only expected to be voting for ties like that and serve as non-official on committees. So that's actually, I just kept that. All that was to say, I didn't really change any of that.
Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. Okay. Chairwoman Diapolito.
No, I have not personally reached out to him. I didn't reach out to the previous one either. Yeah.
Any other questions? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. Yeah, they also, I don't need to get into a whole student government student history question right now, but if there's anybody who knows anything about the history of the speaker, it's me. The president's branch like basically didn't exist, so that's why they were able to be in charge of it, was because we didn't really do programming at the scale that we do now. So they found the need for two positions because it was impossible for one college student to manage all of those responsibilities and a degree. Any other questions?
Yeah, let me just also add this, is that I think that, you know, times are changing and, you know, we have to look at things like that, you know, parts like that, you know. Again, everyone has access to historic records. Take a look at them and you're understanding some of these things, I think, you know, the reasoning about some of these things, you know.
Any other questions? Senator Jacobson? Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's a good, interesting point. I think they would still have you know, chasing, because the person in their college is the speaker of, would be the speaker of the Senate in terms of looking of that. But I mean, honestly, I think that I don't see how we can have a scenario where one person from a college would neglect the college of being represented, because most colleges have at least 2 or 3, I think, you know. I mean, we're talking about cutting them right now, so I don't know what the new numbers would be.
Senator Jacobson? There's been a motion to bypass the period of debate and the period of questioning and move immediately to a voice vote. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay, we'll now move to a roll call vote. That's split, sorry.
Baldinger, Venegas, Boswell, Poviak,
Oh, yeah. To clarify, the question is of bypassing, so we would end the questioning period. It's on the second contested calendar, so normally there's a period of debate that allows senators to get up and speak their opinion. Completely skip that and skip the fact that we do a roll call vote for contested people and just do a simple aye or nay. We did a vote. I can't discern it because it was split down the middle, so we have to do roll call. Yes. A vote of aye in the affirmative is to bypass everything and go straight to a voice vote. A vote of no in the negative is to keep it. Senator Cumby? If the senator like holds his motion, like we kind of have to finish the roll call, unfortunately. You're retrieving your motion. Okay. Senator Lewis, you're still speaking. I'm sorry for the confusion. Chairwoman Diapolito. Okay. Yeah. There's been a motion to bypass the questioning period and move to the period of debate. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We are now in the period of debate. Do any senators wish to speak on this matter? Chairwoman Diapolito.
I just wanted to make a couple quick points about this. First and foremost, this is a really great way to get a whole friend group to run Senate. All of you guys run as for a delegation, and maybe the competition's not that bad. You get in and you get your best friend to be speaker. That's one way. Also, though nationally they do this, we are a student body, so we do not have billions of people voting for Senate. We have our student body voting for the speaker. And the way this is moved in the Constitution is completely removing speaker from an exec position. Then again, like it was said before, giving them the same amount of responsibilities as a senator while also making them speaker. It's very hard for things to be unbiased that way. And it's very hard to not stop drama that way. And lastly, there was one more thing. I yield my time to question.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Sheridan. I'm going to provide a point of information as a two-time Speaker of the Senate. Primarily, the Speaker's job is to remain as like an unbiased person in charge of Student Senate and provide opinion. And like that is like truly the biggest, most important part of my job is that I, at the end of the day, provide the same insight to everybody in the Student Senate, regardless of my personal relationship with them. So I think that that would be like the main difference. Just pointing out from like what, in my experience, the Speaker does.
Yeah, Speaker also provides us guidance and all of that. Having a biased guidance is really no guidance at all if you really think about it. Also, yeah. Oh, also I wanted to note that though this is a constitutional change and the Constitution does override the codes, this would quite literally implode our codes. And it's basically a piece of legislation that is going out there and then saying, hey, someone fix all the codes. Because now none of them make sense.
Any other questions? Senator Hunter. Davis? There's been a motion to appoint Senator Davis as Senator Hunter's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Hunter. Granted. Any other questions? Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to limit the period of debate to 5 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The period of debate is limited to a time of 5 minutes. Give me 1 second to start the timer. Wow, what a great first Senate session for our new people. We're doing a lot today. All right. The 5-minute period of debate is starting right now. Any other questions for Chairwoman Diapolito?
Taking this away the position as an executive would then take away, if you're thinking about it, it would take away all of staff, because executives are the ones that appoint and nominate their staff. You could technically rewrite it that they could still have it, but it doesn't line up with how our codes work out right now. Also taking, sorry, I'm trying to read through it.
I can provide a point of information. I'm not speaking as to like impact, just like statement of facts. As an executive member of student government, I have an office that I'm able to utilize in order to meet with students and all of y'all, meet with my staff. I'm granted a computer, so I'm able to access school files. I go to meetings on behalf of the Student Senate and represent you guys and like advocate for your pieces. I'm granted a monetary stipend each month for my work that I put in, which is over like 60, 70 hours a month. You work over the summer as a student life ambassador. You attend the SEC exchange, meeting other student government leaders, to name a few, just on like what you get as an exec. Any other questions? Senator Sanders.
Yeah. Yes. Honestly, right now, there's no way to tell how the appointment of staff would be affected. There's really no way to tell how any way the Senate runs with our speaker currently would be affected, because our codes would have to be rewritten, and they would be rewritten however deemed fit for this situation.
Senator Spurgeon.
I'll be honest, I've been dealing with a lot of the codes right now. Even just one chapter and a couple articles takes me about, I've spent probably 30-hour weeks just on like one chapter and a couple articles. This would probably take weeks, if not months, to completely figure out and not have any loopholes.
Any other questions? Senator Lewis.
Well, then what is the point of changing them from an executive position? And that wouldn't be fair to any other positions that aren't exec. Then that's saying, can I change in the president's branch of cabinet position to perform like an exec? They look over people, they look over a committee as well. So that would not make any sense or be fair.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Chairwoman Diapolito. Do any other senators wish to speak on this matter? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
Make this quick. I think it's incredibly inefficient. I understand the merits of this case. I understand wanting to make things like real life. However, the way that everything works, the way that committee chair nominations work, the way that the process goes, and especially those of y'all that have been here since August know how bad it can get when we have disagreements. Let's assume that the speaker is someone nominates person A, someone nominates person B. I just think it would be incredibly inefficient, and we already have a position that works in the way that Senator Lewis described. I think the checks and balances between us actually work in favor of the way things are now, and I think we're kind of losing check and balance there. With that, good question.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Do any other senators wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we will now move into Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to adopt SBL 117. Sorry, I'm looking for the number. 153 by voice vote. Senator Fry. Let's finish this motion first. We automatically roll call vote because it's a contested piece. Actually, Senator Jacobson, that motion is heard but not recognized. I'm going to move forward with a roll call vote. We'll now move to a roll call vote on this legislation. A vote of aye in the affirmative is of the passage of the bill, and a vote of nay in the negative is for the failure of the bill. The clerk will call the roll. Please be loud. Please don't forget if you were appointed as a proxy for somebody. Baldinger, Venegas, Boswell, Poviak, Humby, Napolito, Davis, DiLorenzo, Greer, Fry, Govan, Gay, George, Gopel, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Keenan, Kern, Lewis, Lesrie, Middleton, Monica, Wakapusia, Primus, Ryan, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Sheridan, Seitler, Spurgeon, Tapia, Palaka, Violet, Walker, Ward, Wilson, Watley. There's a proxy for Senator Middleton. He appointed somebody, I can't. Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. Okay. Sorry, for our new senators, this is like we're triple checking the vote. It's surprisingly more complex than you would think. Can I have the number? Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna remember it. Is it the top number or the bottom number? Is it? Okay. By a vote of 3 ayes, 35 nays, and 1 abstention, this legislation has failed. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SPL 117-157, sponsored by Senator Marco Puccia, a recommendation to establish a full attendance requirement for student athletic reward points.
Senator Marco-Puccia, you're recognized.
Good evening, guys. So this piece, I didn't think it would get here, but I think I can see why. Well, there are some changes that I would like to make. One, I didn't really take into accountability of accessibility for other people, so I need to add a little bit more in depth about obviously students with disabilities or some value in their literacy, stuff like that. I didn't get around to those changes, but other than that, also the title of this I don't really like anymore. Full attendance. It's really more so like 3/4 attendance, and then also it clearly says like a scan in, scan out, scan in, scan out system. So I'm sure we'll kind of, I guess, make a required time frame for you guys.
If you're looking to make amendments, you can motion to carry it over by a week, and then we can revisit this next week.
I would like to do that.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Unless anybody has questions, I would love to hear any questions or criticism. Can I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yields to questions. Are there
I
any
yield them.
questions? Chairwoman Diapolito.
I'm assuming every single sport because I think football games you can earn points at football games too. The main idea was it for obviously all the sports to get points to go to the football games to get those.
Any other questions? Senator George.
Scan in and scan out. Simply just like you have your ticket, you give them whoever the worker is, and they'll scan your QR code. And obviously the cockpit app will timestamp it.
Senator Jacobson.
Right. It's location based now, but obviously we have you know. Absolutely.
I don't know what that means. Any other questions? Senator George.
Yeah, obviously they have employees here. I'm sorry? Yeah, I mean, you have to give them your ticket to get in the game, so, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a new training implemented, I guess, that's how ideally you want to go.
I can't speak to this particular piece of legislation, but I can, like, point of information that, like, in the past, USC has engineered programs somewhat similar. Like, for example, during basketball games or, like, in upcoming Hoops Week, like, they'll say, oh, the first 6,000 people that come get T-shirts, and they count those out. You get vouchers when you leave. So they have engineered, like, counting programs such as in the past. Senator or gets tabled, that would be the first person I would direct it to.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I would love Dylan to speak to me.
Senator Talaka. Senator Talaka.
I'm sorry? Certain duration. Like I said, it'll probably be around 3/4 of the game. You don't really want to leave before halftime. It's not fun. So.
Chairwoman Diapolito.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. So you're asking, you would regard, Right. Yeah, I mean, seating in general is a totally different realm. I wouldn't say seating and ticketing and how the athletic department. I don't think they correlate or have it. Like seating, I worked in premium seating. I know for sure seating is a totally different department. I don't have seating with the Gamecock Club, seating with the students. So I don't know if if they turn people away because the stadium is full, then the stadium is full.
Point of information, I think I could speak on behalf of athletics that normally, in my experience with them, their like opinion is like if you wanted to be there, you could get there early.
Yeah.
If you're a truly committed Gamecock fan, you'd be there early. Any other questions? Seeing Senator Sanders.
Mm. In what way? Because they. Right. Mm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I honestly, I see where you're coming from, and now I get the correlation and the questions. Okay, so, I don't know. I can't really tell people when to get there or how traffic circumstances. I mean, there always be something going on or like existential circumstances why you can't get anywhere on time. So like, I mean, you can't really blame that on or take away the point of the legislation because of that, I guess, if that makes sense. I guess the whole point of it is to get there, be there for a certain amount of time, engage with the student section, be in the student section, and then you awarded your points. I don't think I mean, yeah, I understand that. I understand. That's a good one. That's a good one. Absolutely. I like that.
Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. There's been a motion to carry over SBL 117-157. That's moving this just over a week.
Absolutely.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The bill is carried over for a period of 1 week. And then you can sit down, Senator Moore. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-165, sponsored by Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, a bill to define what an undergraduate organization is.
Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. There's been a motion to carry over SBL 117-165. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The bill is carried over for a period of 1 week. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-149, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to adjust the fall academic calendar.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized.
Yeah, so this recommendation, it came back. We went, so originally it went to the academics committee. They had some concerns about it. Some of they were valid, and we worked on an amendment together. The rate was written from the beginning. It was actually written to suggest we change the academic fall calendar, and it's still like that. If you read the amendment now, it says we are asking the office of provost and the university to evaluate it, to consider if this is an appropriate change, considering while taking in all the academic requirements and, state and federal laws and everything like that. We're asking, that's what we put in the recommendations the amendment asks for. So it's not like it covers the basis of everything we was looking for and still the academic achievement. One school, I would note, one school that recently done this, this past winter in 2025, actually December 2025, was right here in Benedict. They actually did this model. I believe they was invited to the SEC exchange, but I don't know if they're coming or not, but they're a Columbia school, so they might have got an invitation. But, you know, they'd be interested asking about them that they actually got that movement approved and they did this model too. You know, because of this, you know, because we're talking about this, other schools are very interested in this. You know, Coastal Carolina, you know, they're interested in, you know, implementing something like this. Well, their student government, you know, so I think that it's very open. It's very, you know, to me, you know, when 2 years ago we went to the full week for our Thanksgiving break, you know, to accommodate that, we started school 2 days early. That's simply what they did to give us a week-long break for Thanksgiving. So, you know, before then we only had 3 days off. So I don't think this is impossible. I think this is something we're going to them and say, hey, the students want this. We want this. We don't want to come back for a short period of time, you know, wasting time, you know. But with that, I'm going to give my time for questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Watley.
That's a good question, and the reason I can't give you an answer that would be on the determination to the administration, and that's why we wrote this new amendment to it to accommodate for that. Obviously, I think the first one might have been out of some of our scope, but now it puts everything in dealing with what students can deal with, but also saying the administration has to deal with the administration part. So that's kind of administration part of it.
Chairperson Koviak. Any other questions? Senator Dobbin.
That's a question I can't answer again. That would be, you know, up to the administration determination. Again, this is why I work with the academics committee and, you know, Lennox to really, if you look at the amendment and read the amendment, it says, you know, study, evaluate, and consider, you know, if this is going to be a feasible option. So this is something that we're saying, hey, we would like to see this happen, but at the end of the day, if it's not feasible by the administration, they're just not going to do it, you know, honestly.
Senator Jacobson. Senator Talaka.
Can you repeat it one more time?
I'm gonna bypass this question just because I don't want to speculate like what the university would pick. But that's it's a fair question. I just don't want to like say something that would be incorrect or mislead people. Chairwoman Diapolito.
The academics committee. Oh, yeah, I told us that. So I attended, you know, the academics committee, and they brought up all those points. You know, they told me several things to be considered about that. And, you know, that was all taken into consideration. It was also taken into consideration about, you know, how to say this, students that may not have like access and things like that. And so that's how we came to the determination to write the amendment the way we did.
Chairperson Koviak. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Senator Lewis. We will now move to a period of debate on this legislation. Does any senator wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we will now move to a roll call vote. Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to pass the legislation by voice vote. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage of the legislation say aye. All opposed? I'm sorry, we're going to move to a roll call vote. I just don't want to call that. Feels close. The clerk will call the roll.
Baldinger, Venegas, Boswell, Koviak, Humby, Doppolito, Davis, DiLorenzo, Freer, Fry, Govan, Gay, George, Gopal, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Keenan, Byrne, Lewis, Leslie, Middleton, Monica, Wakaputia, Primus, Ryan, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Sheridan, Seitler, Bergen, Tapia, Talaka, Violette, Walker, Ward, Wilton, Watley.
Once we get the Senate clickers, we'll never have to do that again. Isn't that crazy, guys? By a vote of 11 ayes, 27 nays, and 1 abstention, this legislation has failed. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now in line for a period of open discussion. Any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? If you are looking to leave committees, now would be the time. Join. Senator Boswell. There's been a motion to remove Senator Boswell from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Wilson. There's been a motion to remove Senator Wilson from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. I'm so sorry, I'm not laughing at that motion. My staff just made a really funny face and not really killed me. Senator Wilson. There's been a motion to add Senator Wilson to the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Boswell. There's been a motion to add Senator Boswell to the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Wakapusia. There's been a motion to remove Senator Wakapusia from the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Seitler. There's been a motion to add Senator Seitler to the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Let me pull that. Senator Benegas. There's been a motion to remove Senator Benegas from the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Benegas. There's been a motion to add Senator Benegas to the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Powers and responsibilities is currently under quorum. Sustainability. It's exactly at 6. Is anybody looking to join powers and responsibilities? Liberties and representations is also exactly at quorum at the moment. Senator Wakapusia. There's been a motion to remove Senator Wakapusia from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Wakapusia. There's been a motion to re-add Senator Wakapusia to the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Ryan. There's been a motion to remove Senator Ryan from the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Sheridan. Senator Diapolito. Senator Tapia. There's been a motion to add Senator Tapia to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Before we move on, if you are interested in joining the brand new ad hoc special committee that just passed, will you raise your placard? You don't want people to motion to join it? What? What are you looking to explain? Oh, I thought you said they were at Friday. Sorry, Senator Violette, you're recognized.
Okay, so I want to be clear about the meeting times. Because finance happens on Fridays, this will have meeting times from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then an alternative time possibly around 8 p.m. for powers. Yeah, you don't have to attend the entire time. Like I was saying earlier, there is a flexible time for members of the committee.
Chairwoman Diapolito.
Good question. I mean, I can make the time, put my notes down.
If this provides good clarification, when I was in charge of an ad hoc committee in the 115th, I had like 6 hours of open office hours every Sunday evening for like 8 weeks straight. So like that's actually not an unheard of committee structure for ad hoc committees when they're research based. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any other questions? I know that's a new concept, so that's like going. Okay, if you are looking to join this new ad hoc committee, can you please raise your placard? Because I'm just going to do like a massive motion. If you are a sponsor of the bill, it doesn't automatically mean you're on there. There's been a motion to add Senator Violette, Spurgeon, Boswell, Diapolito, Lewis, and Sanders to the special committee. Is there a second? And Sheridan. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed. Guys, have it. The senators are added to the committee.
We have another point, but considering I'm already up here, delegation chairs, I need some. If you're in a delegation and doesn't have a chair, let me know. Also, since the delegation strength piece passed, our first official meeting will be February 1st at 10 a.m. That's a Sunday. We'll be discussing outreach and strategizing support for each of our respective colleges. Teams meeting will be allowed, but if you can't make it, have a member of your delegation show up in your place. I think that's it. With that, I yield the question.
Senator Wakapusia.
I don't have it pulled up with me.
It's in the OneDrive under the spreadsheet called 117th Senate Delegation.
Believe it.
And they're highlighted in purple. Any other questions, Senator Primus?
Yes. just have a proxy from the body, or let me know your thoughts. You'll be good. Just let me know.
Senator Talaka,
Yes.
can you repeat the special committee meeting time for those who are wondering?
It will be we're going based on what you said about office hours, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Fridays, and I will be free around 8 p.m. as well on Fridays.
Okay, Senator Jacobson, okay, I can go ahead and remedy it. Sorry, this answer is going to sound passive aggressive. I hope it doesn't sound passive aggressive. Since we just transferred like thousands of documents into OneDrive, it's possible that I might have accidentally uploaded like a spreadsheet from like 2 months ago instead of 2 weeks ago. But I'll look at it after. Senator Walker-Garcia. Okay, there's been a motion to remove Senator Walker-Garcia from the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Walker-Garcia. There's been a motion to re-add Senator Walker-Garcia to the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Violette?
One more comment though. I do need a delegation chair for the School of Business. So if you're interested in that, please let me know.
After Senate.
After Senate.
Senator Talaka.
Yes, Teams meeting will be optional. I have a group me. I will send out more information from there.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Speaker Pro Tempore Violette. Any other senators wishing to speak? Senator Diapolito. Yeah, they didn't put up the placard. Senator Spurgeon. Senator Sheridan. Yeah.
Sorry, we'll make this very quick.
Okay. Hey guys, we just want to introduce an initiative that we're doing. So in recent weeks, we've worked in collaboration with the Director of Outreach for President's Branch, Myron, to create an initiative that we call Speak Up with Senate. So the overall goals for this initiative are to reconnect senators with constituents through regular and visible engagement and expand accessibility, as well as low pressure opportunities and low pressure opportunities for student feedback. What we want from these discussions is to strengthen the trust and familiarity between student government and the student body to foster organic ideas grounded in real student experiences and insights. Short term, we would ask that anyone available volunteer for tabling on Green Street. Let us know if you're available. We will be engaging in conversations with students about their day-to-day on campus and any changes that they may desire. The purpose of this is to listen, understand, and make changes. Setting a meaningful agenda for this legislative body is crucial for generating student body support and establishing a reliable network of constituent representative relations. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kiki.
This is short term right now. This is our plan, but we're also going to do long term. But overall, right now, to keep open communication through the student body and Senate, we'll be offering Senate postcards, which will detail who we are, what we do, where to find us, and even invite people to Senate sessions. On this card will also be a QR code linked to senator emails and the delegations they are in, as well as the student government website. We hope to see this initiative grow in the future, setting up consistent dates where bi-monthly delegates would have a set week they would set up outside their respective colleges. For instance, a month on would look like week 1, delegations 1 through 3 would be out there on the day that they choose, week 2, delegations 4 through 6, and so on for that month. This way, constituents can expect to see you again, and if they have any new concerns, they know that you're going to be there bi-monthly, but it also gives you an appropriate amount of time to work on the concerns that were already brought up.
So yeah, the main expected outcome is to increase the visibility and approachability of senators. What we're really looking for is to have, face communication, one-on-one or one-on-two, but just, face-to-face, understanding what people are, what they want, what they can see. It's pretty easy for someone to drop by and give a comment, feedback, note something that we might not have seen, and it just starts to build relationships with people that normally wouldn't go out of their way to shoot an email or something else. We don't expect it to just stop at the conversations. The goal is to have impactful legislation that students tell us that they want. So please reach out if you're interested in getting involved. We hope that all of you would like to talk to your constituents. But yeah, especially our new vacant senators would be a great way to like meet the people and know about stuff. So yeah, we'll send out a sign up with date and times when we plan, and yeah. I yield questions. We yield.
Any questions? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
No.
Our first plan was to just bring it up to everyone first. Obviously, as we said, we'll send out date and time and information. So we're still in the planning. This is the first step of our initiative. Obviously, we still have short-term and long-term stuff, and we're still in the pilot experience right now. So we will be reaching out to the appropriate people. And though this would be appropriate for delegation chairs, this is for everyone. Every single person represents a delegation. It's not specific to the chairs. That'd be unfair.
Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
Yeah, they can
It's
do
a
that.
responsibility of all senators to do outreach. Yes.
No one denied that.
Any other questions? Senator Cumby.
Most likely GroupMe message. Still speaking, we want to reach out to our director of outreach and get everyone in the know, but we thought open discussion was the best way to tell everyone first, because we know some of you skip those GroupMe messages.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are still in the period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Open discussion period is to discuss things that happen during this Senate session. If it's unrelated to this Senate session, announcements. Senator Lewis.
Yeah, so I had to come up here and address a few things that happened on the Senate. So, starting off for number one, you may notice that I tabled two pieces of legislation today, and I just want to give a little context on that. The one about the Senate logo branding was tabled after we had discussion, in a committee. It was, I took advice of the committee and I did that. But I am still working that project. That project is not going away. It is in the works. It's moving. So I think it's very important that we look at that. And so, to redefine how we do that, I think more of an official internal vote will probably be the best way to do that. And so, I'm working to get the designs and everything put together to come back with a projected timeline date for February the 4th, where we can take a vote and see what we want to do about our Senate logo, if we're going to keep it or vote on one of the new ones. So, we got to vote no matter what. Vote to keep the old one, vote to get one of the new ones. The vote's got to happen. I mean, no matter what, because I looked at it the other day and the color code, it didn't even match what the university guidelines are. Other note, another recommendation that was tabled was the one about the Board of Trustees meeting. Now, let me just say this. I got to be careful what I say because, yeah. I was told that the live streams happen. And that's what I was told. And that I was told the live streams already happened for the Board of Trustees, and that they will work to get a link posted. That way it can be accessed by the students. I gave a little pushback, and I said, well, but yeah, that was the reason for it's been tabled. It's not because it was, a bad idea. It's actually a good idea. I would think everyone would love to watch student Board of Trustees meetings, but there's no link on their website right now. There's no link on our website. So hopefully they get that done within ASAP. If it's not, we'll be back here with a recommendation. With that, I yield my time for questions.
I have access to the live stream and I can send it to you, Lester, and anybody else who's interested.
No, I was talking, no, what I mean was that I know there's a link, but the link, it needs to be posted for all the students on the Board of Trustees website, and that's what
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I was just
Yeah.
providing a point of information that if anybody in Senate is looking for it, I'm happy to send it to them.
Yeah.
Senator Salaka? Yeah.
Let me just also add this is that the reason it was tabled it was because it was I didn't want to do anything that was inappropriate. So yeah, I'll listen sometime to advice.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Senator Lewis. Any other period of open discussion matters? Seeing none, we are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements from the floor? Senator Walker.
Hi everyone. This is kind of low. So, I can't say too much. Our Senate has received some criticisms regarding the fact that we have not been addressing problems such as parking. So, my point is that I've been drafting legislation regarding parking that offers some sort of solution. So, please, I haven't sent it yet. I want some more help before I do, and I like to see more opinions about it, more solutions that y'all might have. And it's such a serious problem, so I really would love y'all's help. So if you're interested in seeing the draft, it's like 2 pages, something like that. Please reach out to me if you want to add more, that kind of thing. I would love it. And yeah. I now yield the questions.
Senator Walker yields to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other announcements on the floor at this time? Seeing none, I have a quick one. Good job, everybody. If you're one of our new senators, please don't forget you have training after this. Just head back to the LSC. If you don't know where the LSC is, ask somebody, one of the senators. They'll be able to explain to you. It's across the street hall from Einstein Brothers. Don't forget we have Senate training from 5 to 7 next Tuesday. That's mandatory. Submit a proxy form. If you're not going to be there, class would be excused for this. Work would be excused for this. Please don't drive in the snow. If you have anything that you need from me over the weekend, please feel free to let me know. And same overarching thing that exec mentioned all the time last week, but if anybody's interested in hearing more about what I do in a day-to-day or weekly basis as speaker, what my responsibilities are, what I do as an executive member, things like that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. With that, I yield to the well. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. The Senate will now stand adjourned until Wednesday, January 28th, 2026.